More than 100 Republicans are preparing to break from Donald Trump over the Epstein files vote that is now being held as soon as next week. Republicans on Capitol Hill and in the White House are panicking right now because they are bracing for the possibility of up to 100, possibly more Republicans in the United States House of Representatives to vote for the release of the Epstein files from the Justice Department. This is a stunning development, and it underscores to me one of the biggest takeaways from the past 24 hours. Donald Trump is a lame duck president, and Republicans are increasingly likely to defy him. Over the past 24 hours, Donald Trump spent his day yesterday calling two Republican members of Congress, Nancy Mace from South Carolina and Lauren Boebert from Colorado. These are some of Donald Trump's closest allies in the House of Representatives. They were signed on to the Epstein discharge petition. He desperately, and I mean desperately, worked the phones to try to get them to turn away from the petition to remove their names. They refused, despite significant pressure from the White House, to the point where they even called Lauren Boebert in, kind of in a principal's office-like environment, with Attorney General Pam Bondi there, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, Kash Patel, the FBI director, and more. And yet, despite all of that, despite the full court pressure and press from the White House, these two Republicans who are close Trump allies did not turn from the discharge petition. And now, more than 100 more Republicans could come out and break from Donald Trump. That's what we're hearing now. And let me tell you why this is significant. Because this discharge petition has to pass the House, has to pass the Senate, and for it to become law, Donald Trump does have to sign it. That's never going to happen. So what Republicans and Democrats who have pushed this petition are banking on, they're hoping for enough Republicans to break from Donald Trump to vote for the petition and to create a veto-proof majority in both the House and the Senate to prevent Donald Trump from vetoing the release of the Epstein files. Let's talk about what that means. A veto-proof majority is 2/3 in each chamber, in the House and the Senate. There are 435 members in the United States House of Representatives. Democrats already have 214 members, 215 or so members. Republicans have 218, 219 or so members. I don't have the exact number. In any event, they need to get to approximately 290 votes. They're going to get there, and it's not going to be close. Because say 100 Republicans join Democrats, you have over 300 votes to release the Epstein files. That's a veto-proof majority. That would be a stunning rebuke of Donald Trump. Now, in the United States Senate, the road is a bit of an uphill battle. You need 67 senators to vote to release the files. And if I had to predict, if enough Republicans break in the House, I think you'll get there in the Senate. And we're now seeing a very interesting development play out, because I want to show you this from Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. He was the one who interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell at the Tallahassee prison facility earlier this year. An interview that went viral for a number of reasons, but primarily because Maxwell told Blanche that Donald Trump was not involved in any criminal or illegal activity as it related to Jeffrey Epstein. And yet at the same time, because of what she said favorably inside that interview, she got a prison transfer to the FPC Bryan prison facility, where she currently is serving a 20-year sentence for sex trafficking. She has access to a service puppy. The warden is working with her to support her commutation efforts. She gets private meeting snacks and more preferential treatment after the interview with Blanche. I want you to read this, though, from today. George Conway, who is Kellyanne Conway's ex-husband, no fan of Donald Trump, went after Blanche for talking about how there's an important side note about Todd Blanche's questioning of Maxwell was either A, incompetent, or B, intentionally crafted not to elicit facts incriminating Trump. Look at this retweet from Todd Blanche. George, you've never been confused for a trial lawyer. And these kinds of posts explain why. When I interviewed Maxwell, law enforcement didn't have the materials Epstein's estate hid for years and only just provided to Congress. Stop talking. It's unbecoming. Now, yes, he's attacking George Conway. But what's more important here is that he's realizing and publicly admitting that his interview was undermined by the documents that were released by the House Oversight Committee over the past 24 hours. And what that means is that Todd Blanche's interview with Ghislaine Maxwell cannot be trusted because even Blanche is acknowledging here that he did not have all the documents when interviewing Maxwell. And theoretically, his interview would have and should have changed had he had all these documents. That is a stunning development. But it's not surprising because there is a blatant misleading fact in the interview. I want you to read this with me. I think they were friendly, like people are in social settings. I don't think they were close friends, or I certainly never witnessed the president in any of. I don't recall ever seeing him in his house, for instance. This is a section from the interview with Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell, where Maxwell says that she doesn't recall ever seeing Donald Trump in Jeffrey Epstein's house. Look at this email from April 2nd, 2011. I want you to realize that dog hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. That's Jeffrey Epstein notifying Ghislaine that in 2011, Donald Trump spent time in his house with the victim. That's different from what was said here. Maybe it was a lie. Maybe it was her completely misleading Blanche. But maybe this is why you shouldn't trust someone who is known to have been charged with perjury. Trust someone who the Department of Justice believed lied regularly. And we're getting more Epstein documents as well. This is an email chain between Landon Thomas Jr., a New York Times reporter who appears regularly in the 23,000 or so documents released by the House Oversight Committee, and Jeffrey Epstein. And I wanted you to pay attention to this email from December 8th, 2015 at 4:43 p.m. Eastern Time. Jeffrey Epstein writes to Landon Thomas Jr., would you like photos of Donald and girls in bikinis in my kitchen? We know this is talking about Donald Trump because if you look at the subject line, the last name is Trump. Landon Thomas responds, yes, with multiple exclamation points. Epstein then responds, when we bet that Marla Maples was pregnant, I lost and sent him $10,000 of baby food. The Hawaiian Tropic girls all have photos. He was the judge. This is a real email. This is a real email. And I think it underscores exactly why Republicans are breaking from Trump. Because the more we look through these documents, the more it becomes clear that Donald Trump was very connected with a sex trafficker, with Jeffrey Epstein and with Ghislaine Maxwell, more so than the public ever knew about. And this is why Donald Trump so desperately tried to keep Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace from signing on to the discharge petition, although he failed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another update.